starting the match from Dubois, Pennsylvania. Jackie won 2 titles in 1996. Has been unable to win a title here in 97. However, she did finish 3rd earlier this year in the Southern Virginia Open in Danville, Virginia. Jackie recently celebrated her 1st year anniversary. She married Tom. This past June was their anniversary. And you said it, Jan. Are they balls they can strike with? Sure looks like it.
They're both confident with the equipment they're using right now, and I'm sure Jackie's right. We watched in warm-ups here, and there's a lot of strikes being thrown on this pair.
Leanne Barrette from Fremont, California, recently relocated back to California from Oklahoma. And it is going to be a high-scoring match, I predict.
I agree with you. We're going out on a limb, but hey, you know.
Scores have been high all week.
Although for these players, really, for Leanne, well, she averaged 215 on this pair.
See, she qualified 4th with a 222 tournament average.
So this definitely was not one of her higher scoring pairs.
Oh, and the 9-pin is the last to go. Jan, what causes the 9-pin to go so late?
Well, the ball's driving hard through the pocket, and it's actually not, the pins are not deflecting properly the way they would if the ball's not going through at the hard angle. Take a look how the ball's coming in really high on the head pin. See how the ball, took it off the wall. Pin got it off the wall. Normally the ball would deflect and take out the 9-pin. When it's driving through that hard, it misses the 9-pin. She was fortunate to get that knocked out.
Jackie answers back with a double. I know a lot of players now are going to lighter weight balls to actually improve on deflection.
It's a good point, and the men especially, but most of the women have switched to 15-pound equipment now because they, like you just said, they want the deflection. Balls, the surface of the balls are so reactive nowadays that they hook so hard through the pocket. They're actually finding it hard to carry.
Well, this lady is not having any problem carrying, as Jackie has currently got the first 3. Leanne having a very good year as she won earlier in Omaha.
And she told us, you know, there's a few conditions she's struggled on and hasn't made the cuts, but of the cuts she's made, which I think this is her 11th cut, she's finished 13th as her lowest finish this year so far in the cuts she made. So she's happy with that.
Well, she's answering to Jackie right now. Things have really changed around for Leanne. She mentioned last night. I know she has been one player to have a really roller coaster type of a career.
She came out, took the tour by storm in 90 and 91, player of the year, bowler of the year, and then things kind of went. I think, you know, she tried to change some things, which she probably didn't need to change. And she's gone back to a lot of the basics she started with, and she's bowling great right now.
Well, through the nose on that shot, Leanne glances up at the crowd a little bit. Now, it's critical that she gets the ball far enough to the right.
Because she hooks the ball so much, or has such a powerful release, she needs to force it through the heads going right. Otherwise, it will jump on the nose like that. She's setting this down, about 25th board, but never got it right of 15. She needs to project the ball right.
Great cover on the spare. Leanne Barrette currently trails Jackie by just 4 pins. We'll have more of match number 1 when we come back. Fourth frame. I take that back. She is no longer Sellers. I was just trying to pronounce her last name, Mitskavitch. And Tom, I apologize. I will probably be doing that throughout the night, so I'm just going to say I'm sorry right out the bat.
And she's enjoying being Mrs. Mitskavitch also. She loves being married, she said she'd like to be at home now, but she's struggling because she knows the tour is growing and prize money's going up, and she said, you know, how can I quit right now? But she really wants to stay at home.
And she really did have a great year last year, and it's carrying over to this year. So you're right, it's a tough decision.
How about those records, Leila? I mean, how incredible is that? 877, 288, 289, 300.
And she just did it last weekend in an LPBT regional event at, I believe, Maxarama Lanes.
In Van Wert, Ohio. Followed that series up with a 289 game for a 4-game record of 1166.
Incredible. And she was pretty nonchalant about it as well. Well, back on line here, as Leanne is only trailing now by 3 pins.
Leanne also recently moved to California, and she's really liking that move. She's near her family and has a lot to do out there. And she said it takes a little bit of stress off the bowling. She has other things involved.
Well, Leanne joined the tour at the tender age of 19. This week, she celebrated a big one.
My best friend Kelly came from California, and so the week started off kind of special, and she flew home on Monday, and things just kind of went well from there. I got a new Seawolf, and things just kind of fell my way, so maybe it was just good luck to turn 30 this week.
That big 3-0.
Well, she'd probably like to add another O to that and maybe shoot the big 300.
Oh, now that would be appropriate. Yeah.
Right, we could have added that to her, given her that little bit of incentive here. Well, she doubles and puts herself back into the lead by 7 pins.
Jackie has to be so, I would think, confident, because to have been able to just throw that many strikes in a row, keep throwing strikes, keep throwing strikes. Once you get that feeling in you, you have that to draw on every time you're out there bowling.
Is it going to make it? No. But you're absolutely correct, Jen. You know, just that constant consistency of seeing it over and over again. I mean, that just has to be, for the subliminal messages, be extremely strong. And switching balls to convert the 10-pin. Jackie actually had to convert a 7-pin last night to keep her spot on the show.
She said she made it close, too.
We mentioned her records. Here's a look at the new WIBC records that she broke. 3-game series, formerly was 865, and that was Anne-Marie Dugan. 4-game series, 5-game series. Look at those games. And she also broke a 6-game and a 12-game LPBT record.
She did 1630 for 6 games. That used to be held by Nikki Giannoulias back in 1990 with 1566. And then the 12-game, 3119.
Well, both ladies are striking here at Don Carter Lanes. We'll have the rest of match number 1 when we come back. The championship round finals of the Hammer Players Championship is being brought to you by AMF Bowling Worldwide, the largest owner and operator of bowling centers in the world and one of the leading makers of bowling products. AMF always means fun. And we're back in the 7th frame. Leanne Barrette, working on 2 strikes, has a 7-pin lead. Very large spread there, Jan, between her index finger and her middle finger.
She spreads that index finger to get a little bit more rotation on the ball. And that's what happens.
We talked about that 9-pin. That time she was not as fortunate to get it out.
Ball just drove too hard and went right past the 9-pin.
A lot of times you'll see maybe a 4-9 with the 9-pin as well.
I personally saw a lot of those this week. I think a lot of the ladies did. 4-9s were real prevalent.
And a look at the scoreboard. Leanne leads by 6 pins.
This is our new Elvis machine. You can see the left lane and right lane, how Leanne's playing both lanes. It's kind of hard to see how far right the ball did finally get because she projects the ball so far to the right.
It almost looks, though, that the left lane, she may be swinging a little bit more, projecting a little farther than on the right lane.
Especially after coming up on the nose that one shot. I'm sure she's trying to make sure she gives it room on the left lane.
Well, comes back with a strike in the 8th frame. Jackie right now trailing by 6 pins, can take the lead again if she can strike here. Jackie actually started out this tournament after the first round in 19th, didn't move into the television finals until the first round of match play, and then she pretty much stayed up there. As I mentioned last night, she needed to convert a 7-pin.
Jackie playing lanes pretty far left. She's setting it down about 15, going out to about the 7th, 8th board. Dead flush. And she's all business, no laughter there. This is a serious lady in competition.
Absolutely. I bowled with her in team challenges, and I tell you what, when it comes down to having to strike, she can do it. Right through the nose. Well, that's disaster here in the 9th frame.
Looked a little bit slow on that shot, Leila. That didn't quite get the velocity down through the heads.
It's almost as if, too, she didn't really project it right enough. Okay, Jan, she needs to try to really go for the pins or go for the conversion.
I bet she's going to go for the conversion here. If she looked at the score, she really should try to pick it up.
Whoa, excellent try.
So I think if she was going for the pins, she might have gone with her spare ball to make sure she covers the 2, but she went with the hook to try and scoot that 4-pin over into the 10.
Good point. Well, Leanne, right now up in the 9th and 10th frame, can lock this match up.
And the best Jackie could shoot now is 224. Spare, strike, spare. She fills 20 each frame. That would be a score of 225.
So we are right down to the wire here in the 10th frame. We like it when matches get that close, get exciting. We have very, very great talent here on the telecast tonight.
All 5 players in the top 15 in every category we have here on tour, being earnings, points, average. And that's what should happen in a Players' Championship. The top players should... Oh, my.
Critical error on Leanne's part. Flags a 4-pin.
Just talked about throwing a hook at the spare, at the left side spare. She expected that to hook. Did not realize how much conditioner was in the middle of the lane. The ball didn't hook as much as she thought. That's one reason for throwing a spare ball, even at your left side spares. You can go right at it.
Well, she trails by 1 pin right now, heading into the 10th.
So if she throws 3 strikes, she can't shut Jackie out. Jackie could step up and throw 3 strikes to win.
And through the nose. You think that shook Leanne up a little bit?
I think so. You know, we're professionals, and you say, hey, you know, I can shake it off, but when it's the 9th frame and you have a chance to close out a match, it's hard to shake it off that quick. I think if you have a little time, you can, but boy, when you have to make the next shot, that's tough.
So Jackie sees new light at the end of the tunnel. Oh my. And Leanne chops the 3-6 off the 10. 2 open frames back to back, ends up with 202. Jackie marks actually 9
pins on both balls.
She moves on. What a turnaround. And she gets the first one, and it'll be Jackie Jackie-Mitskavitch that will advance to our next match. I know that's always very disappointing. I mean, you want to come out and bowl well, and it's one thing if your opponent beats you, but if you give the match away, it's devastating.
Yeah, it is. And unfortunately, failure breeds success. That's the only way you can improve is by having mistakes.
Well, Jackie-Mitskavitch advances to meet Anne-Marie Dugan when we come back. Meanwhile, Leanne Barrette settles for 5th place in a check for $3,700. We'll be back.